Greetings, film fans. John Campea here with AMC Movie News, and the countdown is just about over. We are finally just about at The Dark Knight Rises. But you know, one of the things that crossed my mind the other day is that without Batman Begins, there would be no Dark Knight Rises. There would be no excitement without The Dark Knight Rises. And I wanted to start to think about what was it about Batman Begins that set the stage for us to have this incredible franchise that we're now wrapping up with? What was it that set the stage for The Dark Knight Rises? Joining me for that discussion today about what makes Batman Begins such a great origin story. First, sitting to my immediate right, she is a voting member of the Broadcast Film Critics Society. She is also co-host of Cocktails with Stan Lee, Miss Jenna Bush.
Hi, guys.
And sitting to Jenna's right, she is a film critic with Fandango.com, also a voting member of the Broadcast Film Critics, Miss Gray Drake. Gray, thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks for having me.
So, Jenna, let's start with you. When looking at Batman Begins, what is it about that film that makes it such a great origin story for Batman?
Comic book movies were really sort of popcorn and fluff and fun and all of that before Batman Begins. But Batman Begins really brought a gritty, edgy tone to an origin story. Batman's always been like a really dark character in the DC universe, which usually has cleaner heroes. And I also think it was the casting. Somebody like Christian Bale, who has real depth and gravitas and angst. Having him in the role made a huge difference. I also think casting somebody like Liam Neeson, who you always see really as the good guy or the mentor, and having him turn into the bad guy, it's kind of awesome.
And Bale was really the first Batman we've ever seen on screen who was both a really strong Bruce Wayne and strong Batman at the same time.
Yeah, that's huge.
Gray, what about you? What do you see in Batman Begins that makes it such a great origin story?
First and foremost, the movie kicks off with a mud wrestling scene and is all about hallucinogenics. Amazing. And rare because they really took a chance on this story, but I think in all seriousness, what Christopher Nolan did was he took the theme from the Dark Knight comics of fear and of facing your fear, and he made it really relatable. It wasn't just a story about this is a cool superhero millionaire who decides to dress like a bat. It was about really going after what has haunted you your entire life. And it made people sitting in the seats feel like they could relate to this guy that they are probably and hopefully nothing like. I think it was amazing, and it just proves what a fantastic writer he is.
Yeah, I see two real key things here. We see in a lot of superhero films the genesis of a superhero. We see Hal Jordan getting the ring. We see Peter Parker getting bit by the spider. But very few films flesh out that genesis. We don't just see Bruce Wayne witnessing the death of his parents. Christopher Nolan takes time to then show us how Bruce Wayne transforms, how his whole persona changes as a person, and in a very limited amount of time on screen, how he turns from just Bruce Wayne into Batman. I love the way they flesh that out. The other thing I really like about it is any story, whether it's an origin story or whatever, the most important element is going to be the storyteller. You're talking about Christopher Nolan. I'm going to sound really hipster when I say this, but I was into Christopher Nolan before Christopher Nolan was cool. I think Insomnia is one of the most underrated, underappreciated films out there. I love that movie, and he just brings such a master stroke to Batman, and I think the consistency of having Nolan in there for all three films is what ultimately is going to make it such a classic trilogy. But listen, folks, we want to know what you think. Why do you think Batman Begins is such a great origin story for the Batman franchise? Listen, that'll do it for us. I want to thank Jenna for being with us. Thank you, Jenna.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Gray.
Definitely.
And folks, get ready for The Dark Knight Rises. The countdown continues. Thanks for joining us. My name is John Campea.